Hey everybody, welcome to Composer Night. We are going to kick off the night with Don Stille on piano and accordion, and he's going to be playing the music of Duke Ellington. All right, you're good to go, Don.
All right, Christy, thank you. Hello, everybody. Good to see you all again, as always. And like Christy said, I'm going to be doing actually a continuation of a group, composer. The last time I did the composers night, and that is Duke Ellington, and also some Strayhorn mixed in with that as well, Billy Strayhorn. So might as well get to it. And if we could turn on the there. Okay, we're rolling. So here we are. I'm going to start with, how about Drop Me Off at Harlem. This is an Ellington composition, and he stresses when he first composed this tune, he wanted to make it clear that Harlem was always thought of a state of being, a state of mind, and rather instead of a geographical location. So we'll go with that in mind, and this is Drop Me Off at Harlem. Okay, and there we have feature number one. Drop me off at Harlem. Uh, and it's, as always, it's a lot of fun. All right, I think next we're going to do, this is an Ellington and Strayhorn composition here. And words and music, although I'm not going to sing, because like I say, nobody's going to want that. But words and music by Duke Ellington and Philly Strayhorn. And of course, I'll try to do both Duke's and Strayhorn's part. And I'm just joking, as if that could be done. All right. So here, this is a tune entitled Daydream. Okay, it's a beautiful piece. You can do it many different ways, which is a great tune to play because you can experiment with different genres, different styles. And I think maybe do kind of a balmy, kind of a Latin feel, almost like a soft tango. It kind of warrants that. It's that kind of tune. So here it is, Daydream. Something I used to do in school a lot. Okay, and that was Sophisticated Lady. I just thought I'd throw that in there real quick. And that bridge is something else. And most of the time I nail it. Sometimes I get creative. So we're working on that. Anyway, I'm going to end. This is be kind of an up tune. It won't, the end of my set is coming up at the end of this tune. And so we'll have a race, and I'll bet you I'll beat you. Okay. And this tune is Perdido. This is not a Duke Ellington composition, but his Juan Tizol composed the piece, and it circulated in the Ellington Orchestra for a day or so, and allowed Duke time to make, do an arrangement, and it sort of became his tune as well as Juan's tune. So there we go, Perdido. There we have it, Perdido and Duke Ellington, and it's all good. Billy Strayhard, he's all good too. So it's great to see you. I'm sorry I'm talking fast, but we're moving right to them tonight. So hopefully see you soon.
That was lovely, Dan.
Thank you, Christy.
Thank you. We'll see you next week.
I'll be here.
I do not remember what the theme is for next week, and I've moved stuff around, so I'll get back to you.
Okay, I'll be checking I'll check the emails.
Okay, sounds good. Well, thank
All
you,
right.
Dan.
Don't get stolen.
Yeah. Alrighty. And next up, we have Liam joining us with a cocktail tutorial. tight. And we'll have Liam, we will have Liam up here in just a moment. While the show is going on, I make guesstimates of when each set is going to end, starting when each person starts their last tune. So sometimes I'm accurate, sometimes I'm not. There we go. All right, Liam, I'm going to get out of here. I've yacked enough.
Thanks, Christy. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another awesome Manouche Monday cocktail tutorial. I'm your host and daring bartender, Liam McShane. I am calling this segment Aged and Infused because we're talking about infusion and infused spirits today and how we want to use those in cocktails. So right off the bat, I want to talk a little bit about what I did, a little bit of a demo for those of y'all that saw earlier in the week. I infused some cocktails on my own at home. I hope you did too. If not, don't worry about it. You can just read from my face how delicious and wonderful they are. So what I did was I took 2 high-proof spirits without any flavoring out. When you're infusing your favorite ingredients into a spirit, you want to make sure that they are high-proof because that is going to allow them to absorb the most compounds from whatever substance you're using. The higher the ABV, the more oils and lipids that it's going to pull out of the item. In this case, I've used a higher proof whiskey, a rye whiskey, and I've added orange peel and cranberry. I've also used an overproof rum, extremely high proof to be precise, and I've added roasted garlic. Whatever you're using at home, just make sure it's one of your favorite spirits. You don't have to use too much, so you don't have to sacrifice too much. And what you're going to want to do is you will, once you take the thing, be it blueberries or lavender or toenails, you're going to chop them up into really fine pieces. You're going to macerate them so that you can achieve the most surface area. For instance, with my rum that I've infused with roasted garlic, I made sure to really kind of mash and macerate, pulverize those roasted garlic pieces before I put them into the rum. And every couple of days or so, I would reach back into the fridge where I had stored these 2 mason jars, and I would give them a healthy shake. So as you can see now, I have the rye whiskey. I've already taken most of it out. So you can see it's kind of taken on a little bit of a darker color in there. As for the overproof rum, it started off perfectly clear and has now taken on this kind of like aged yellowy appearance from that garlic. And we're going to talk about how these taste in a little bit. So once you have your infused spirit, you're going to let it sit for a specific amount of time. The more fragrant and potent the ingredient that you're infusing it with, the less time it takes to impart that flavor to the spirit itself. So for instance, the roasted garlic and the overproof rum, it's only been about 3 or 4 days, but it's already really given a lot of that garlic flavor and aroma to the rum itself. Whereas the rye whiskey, a lot of the orange has been communicated to the flavor, but not a ton of the cranberry just yet. But that's okay, because we're going to be working with some of those flavors anyway, and in the meantime, we can kind of tweak it ourselves to achieve the perfect flavor that we want. So once we have these infused spirits that are going to sit in the jars, before you use them, you're going to want to strain them to separate these pieces of stuff out. So what I use here tonight is I use this awesome cone mesh strainer. At home, you can just use whatever you have around, a sieve or anything like that. But not only did I use this mesh strainer, I also used a bit of cheesecloth. I just kind of packed it down at the bottom so that all the liquid running through the cone would be intercepted by that cheesecloth and it would strain out. Because often when you infuse stuff, you're going to have, especially if you macerated it, pulverized it properly, you're going to have lots of little bits in there. So you're going to want to filter it entirely out. So after I did that, I have the finished product. Here is the orange peel and cranberry infused rye whiskey, and I have here the roasted garlic infused overproof rum. So now that we have these two things together, Whatever you have at home, these are just general guidelines. Particularly the first cocktail we're going to make tonight is something you can easily make with whatever you have on hand. Because I've been thinking about this idea of rum and roasted garlic for a long time, I really wanted to give it the attention and resources that it deserves. So I'm making a little bit of a finer tuned cocktail. It's not necessarily going to contain things that you may have around you at home, but if you're using a savory, funky, fragrant thing like I am, I'll give you a couple of tips so that you can make something very similar. So why don't we get started? First, we are going to make a cocktail using the infused rye whiskey. And I want to make a shaken cocktail. Just right off the top of my head, I was thinking about ways that I could use this orange cranberry whiskey. And one of the first things I thought of that jumped to my mind was an old fashioned. An old fashioned is naturally going to have some spicy, tart elements to it, as well as orange fragrance. You often add a lot of orange bitters to a classic old fashioned. Since we already have those flavors in the whiskey, however, I wanted to make it a little bit fun and nice and easy. So we're going to make a whiskey highball using this infused rum. So take whatever shaking apparatus you'll have around. In my case, I have a fancy mixing tin, but you can use a bottle or a ball jar or just anything that you can close and give a good shake. So let's go ahead and start. I'm going to add about 2 ounces of this whiskey. I want it to impart a lot of flavor, especially since, as you're going to see in a second, we're going to pour some soda water over the finished product. So we have 2 ounces of our infused whiskey. At this point, I want to add a little bit of a sweetener, especially since we're using some soda water, as is customary for a highball. I really want that sweetness to come across in the drink even after it's been diluted. So what I have here is Demerara simple syrup that I made using Demerara sugar and boiling water in equal parts. So normally in an old-fashioned, you'd only use 1/8 of an ounce, a bar spoon. But in this case, I'm going to add a little bit more so that sweetness comes across. I'm going to add strong 1/4 ounce in there. If you hear me calling out measurement amounts in ounces, just remember, for all y'all at home that don't have an ounce measuring device, 1 ounce is equal to 2 tablespoons. And y'all are amazing at math, so I believe. So we're going to add that 1/4 ounce of Demerara syrup. At this point, we're going to add a little bit of lemon juice. You often have that tart citric quality, and I really want that to come across, like I said before, even after being diluted. So we're going to add about 1/2 ounce of lemon juice there. Yummy, yummy, yummy. There's already some orange, a lot of orange fragrance to the spirit, so we don't really need to add any orange bitters like we would in an old-fashioned. But most old-fashions often contain a cherry, too. So I got to thinking about that, and I'm going to use a little bit of a liqueur called Kina Kina, which to me really harkens back to that spicy cherry flavor in there. If you're at home, you don't have to use this stuff. You can even use the syrup out of your jar of cocktail cherries. You can use cherry juice, whatever floats your boat. Just make sure you taste it as you go, both to get a little bit of a buzz even before you touch your lips to the cocktail, and so that you can make sure that your levels are exactly right. So for the Kina Kina, I'm just going to add a gentle 1/4 ounce to there. I don't want it to take over the flavor of the cocktail because it has a lot of spices and it's a very dark fruit flavor. It stands to step on everything else. So I'm going to use just a sparing amount. So we have the lemon, we have a little bit of the cherry flavor, we have the sweetener. I'm going to add a couple of dashes of aromatic bitters to bring out some of the earthy elements from the cranberry and the whiskey. Ha-cha! Excellent. Now we're going to give it a good shake. Everybody at home, you can get your ice ready and all together. I'm just going to pour it into my mixing tin like that. Showtime. All right. That seems about enough to me. Bad, baby, bad. All right, now we're going to get some ice in our highball glass. Any self-respecting highball is going to be over ice. We get it nice to the top of the glass. Any glass you have at home is going to be good for a highball as long as it's long, tall, and pretty skinny. And now we're just going to single strain over here because we're pouring over ice already. Doesn't matter if we get some ice chips into the cocktail. Oh my goodness, look at that almost peachy, woody color. Hope y'all can see it at home. This is going to be awesome. We're going to add a little bit of soda water over the top. As they say in the industry, a little bit more than a splash. All the way to the top. And I want to add a good garnish to this. So I was kind of playing around with a little bit of cherry and orange peel. First, we're going to take our orange and our handy dandy peeler. Going to cut off a nice swath there. Remember to get a good grip in the orange without putting your thumb in a place where you're going to peel your thumb a little bit too. I'm going to take a cocktail cherry and a little bit of a skewer. Actually, I'm going to fish this cherry out with a bar spoon. Won't take quite as long. Yum. Okay. So first what we're going to do is we're going to take the long side of one of the orange peels, but not just the center in there. We're going to go for the corner. Ha-cha-cha. All right. Stabbing our cherry through the middle there. And I'm going to, instead of just encircling it, oh, that looks nice. Okay, but I want something a little bit fancier. So I'm going to defy your expectations. And I'm going to give the orange peel a little bit of a twist. Oh, that's cool. Okay, so now we have a little bit of movement. I'm going to stab it through the opposite side. Ooh. Oh, there we go. All right. Like normal cocktail making, doesn't always go the way you want it. But now we have a little bit of an inversion there. Kind of highlights the cherry and gives it a cool form to the cocktail. And we'll place it right across the top. This way, the orange peel dips into the drink, adds a little bit more of that orange essence, but we see the whole thing readily displayed. I'm going to stick a straw in there, because she done. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You want to taste, faithful companion?
I already had one.
Yeah, but this one's even better. Amazing, amazing. We made our highball. All right. Now, in the interest of time, let's get right on to our second drink. So I was thinking about the strong flavors. First, when I roasted the garlic, I wanted to taste it and smell it immediately to see what I was adding to the rum itself. And even as I tasted, those toasty, caramelized flavors of the roasting process, I got a little bit of light aromatic herbal essences to it. A little bit of mint and a little bit of vanilla. So with that in mind, I started thinking about how I could combine those flavors in a cocktail. I landed on a neat cocktail, a stirred cocktail, something like a Negroni, that's really going to feature all of these kind of delicate flavors and aromas without diluting it too much or pulverizing it too much. As you've often heard, you can bruise gin, but you can also destroy these long chain molecules. They can create these complex flavors and aromas by shaking it. So we're going to stir. Since I am using an extremely boozy rum, overproof at 151 proof, that's 75% alcohol. Ooh, not for the faint of heart. But since I'm using such a strong rum, I'm actually going to combine it with another rum that I haven't infused, and that's a little bit less alcoholic. So we're going to pour out a gentle ½ ounce of our garlic rum into a mixing glass. Of course, if you don't have a mixing glass at home, just use a cup. Or make whoever's around, just hold their hands in a cup formation like this. That'll work just fine. I'm sure it'll work fine. Okay, so now that we have about a ½ ounce of that overproof rum, we're going to add about an ounce of a darker rum, an aged rum. In this case, I'm using the El Dorado 12. You can find it at a lot of stores around you. Or you can use any dark rum that you like. Just make sure it doesn't have too much spice to it, because we don't want to mess with the cocktail with stuff ingredients we're not exactly familiar with. Using a non-spice rum allows us to control more of the factors in the cocktail. So we're gonna pour about a whole ounce up there in the mixing glass. Okay. When I was thinking about this cocktail, I knew that I wanted to make it a stirred, neat cocktail, and I wanted to make it harken back to a little bit of an archetypical cocktail. In this case, a Negroni. That is because a Negroni is classically a fairly bitter cocktail because it usually contains a bitter aperitif, such as Aperol, Campari. It also contains a little bit of a dark vermouth, but I didn't want to cover the flavors too much. So what I'm going to use is another aperitif that's not quite so bitter and a dry vermouth. So what I have around here is an amazing, awesome, spicy orange aperitif from a lovely West Coast spirits company called Brovo. They're the bomb. Female owned and operated. They always have these beautiful labels, and their liqueurs and aperitifs and all that kind of stuff are to die for. They're always really finely crafted with cocktail making in mind. So I'm going to take this spicy orange aperitif. I'm only going to add about a ½ ounce to it. Ooh, I made a pretty healthy ½ ounce, but I think it's still going to taste pretty good. After that, we're going to add our dry vermouth. Also from Brovo Spirits, I have their dry vermouth called the Witty. This time we're going to add a little bit more than a ½ ounce. We're going to skirt that edge between ½ ounce and ¾ ounce. We're going to pour it on in. Excellent. I do want to bring out, though, some of that caramelized flavor. I want to heighten it and accentuate it because I love roasted garlic. Toasty sweetness with the umami savory and the funky aromatic is just amazing. So in order to do that, we're going to use a little bit of a cheat, add a couple of dashes of an aromatic bitter, and one other thing, which is okay if you don't have it at home. You probably don't. This is called Cynar. It's a classic Italian liqueur, almost like an Amaro because it has that bitterness to it, and it's made predominantly from artichokes. It has a little bit of that bitterness and earthiness that I know is going to impart some good flavor. But I don't hardly want to mess up the cocktail at all with this. I'm going to use just an 1/8 of an ounce. You can even go like a ¼ teaspoon on this one if you're trying to make it at home. I'm going to pour it out so gently. All right. Cool. So we have all our ingredients in there. Now all we're going to do is set some ice in. Give it a little stir. So for those of you at home that do have a pretty nice stirring receptacle, like a mixing glass or a nice heavy bottom wide cup, if you want to practice stirring with a bar spoon or any similar implement at home, the good idea to think about it is this. You're going to hold it much like you would a pencil. And instead of trying to drag the stirring implement in a circle, all you're going to really do is move the spoon away from you and towards you. And as long as you're making sure it sticks to the sides of the glass, that's all you got to do. We're going to give it a nice stir. I do want some water to dilute this because these are some very strong flavors. Not to mention there's a lot of booze in here. All right. Oh my God, look at that color. Okay. We're going to just pour it. We have a little bit of a strainer right here. Since we didn't do any shaking, we don't have to worry about ice particles. We're going to pour it right into our fancy little glass right here so that it highlights the color in there. The funniest thing about this cocktail is when you lift it right up to your face, you naturally inhale like everybody does when they're about to take a sip, which is a good thing to keep in mind when you're designing drinks, is that you always smell it before you taste it. All I smell when I'm about to taste this is garlic. Oh, so good. The little bit of sweetness from all those various liqueurs we put in here really brings out that earthy, bitter, roasted, sweet quality, the caramelized part of the garlic. The earthy parts accentuate this funky aromatic quality, and then you have this like big basso profundo butteriness from the garlic itself that contributes to what I think is not a bad cocktail. Send me a message if you like, or just leave a comment what you think this cocktail should be called. I don't really have a name just for it yet, and I'd love to know what y'all would think. Anyway, that's about all time we have for today. Thanks for joining me on Manouche Monday. My name is Liam McShane. Take care of yourselves and each other. Yeah, exactly. We can
Oh yeah.
Really,
No one had any of that. Contest time. Everybody's gonna say that again.
It smells like garlic.
It does. It smells a lot like garlic.
I like garlic.
Well, that's good.
I can
that's
do
good.
that.
You can come on over and get you some for a garnish. It's got to be something evocative of the flavors in the drink. But I don't know if I could do that to somebody. Just like take a thing of pickled garlic or something, skewer it over the top, or even set it down at the bottom. I think that might be too much. And even for the adventuresome, I don't want to scare them away with it.
What about like an herb? What about like rosemary or dill or something?
Yeah, like a little bit of express thyme just over the top of it. That would be just fine. That would be just fine. I'm all gas, no brakes sometimes, and tend to get a little bit ahead of myself.
You could make it a Halloween drink. It could be like a keep the vampires away drink.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vampire's Bane. I could call it the Silver Bullet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Or it could be like a Bertie Bott's thing. Like, ooh, what's in this cocktail? It's garlic.
one sniff, garlic.
Okay, there it is. At least it's not booger, or earwax.
Yeah.
So if anything, I'm being
pretty low, I guess.
My customers and guests. I'm just doing them a flavor, whatever. You get the idea.
It's a pun too. Cool. Well, thanks, Liam. That was great.
Thanks,
I was
Christy.
texting that you were killing it.
Haha.
I knew you'd like that. Cool. Well, we will see you next week.
All right. Keep yourselves warm and cozy. I love you.
See you later, Liam. Next up, we have got Don Stiernberg. I think I did the thing that I did before, so he's going to be confused. There we go. We will have Don up momentarily. And he is doing a set of Hoagy Carmichael tunes. Oops. I didn't have this on the right thing either. There we go. As you can see to the side, we've got a very young Hoagy Carmichael sitting right here. He's going to be enjoying Stiernberg's set the way the rest of us are. There we go.
Hey.
Hey.
Can you see me all right?
Yep.
I got to turn my volume down here so I don't have an explosion. That should be better.
Alrighty, I'm going to leave you to it, Dan.
Hey, I see that cool graphic.
Yeah.
That's not me. Yeah, I do too. It's not me in a suit, ladies and gentlemen. That's actually the Hoagy Carmichael.
Little baby.
Himself. In the golden era. All righty. Where did she go? Where is she going to now? My goodness. Oh, I'm just kidding. How you doing, everybody? Composer night. Great to be back. Hope you're feeling good, somewhere warm, and enjoying one of Liam's creations. And ready for some songs? I got some Hoagy Carmichael songs for you. You know Hoagy Carmichael. I know you do. Or as one of my guitar heroes, the great Martin Taylor, calls him, Hoagy Carmichael. Georgia, the whole day through, just an old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind. Georgia on my mind. Georgia, Georgia. A song of you comes as sweet and clear as moonlight through the pines. Other arms reach out to me. Tenderly, and still in peaceful dreams I see the road leads back to you. Georgia, Georgia, Just an old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind. Other arms reach out to me. Other eyes smile tenderly. Still and peaceful dreams I see. The road leads back to you. Georgia, Georgia. Just an old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind. Just an old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind. Georgia on my mind. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, so like I was saying, you know Hoagy Carmichael. He's the one that wrote the music on that. And what was I reading earlier today about who wrote the lyric? No, it was one of the other ones I'm going to play, where there's an interesting lyricist on it. For a long time, I thought erroneously that Hoagy was one of those words and lyrics guys, and I gather he was on some things, but not on others. So the other two Hoagies I'm gonna play for you. I'm just gonna play on the mandolin, and hope that's okay. Here's one that legend has it. Hoagy made this parts of this little melody sections, key changes, whatnot. He borrowed from cornet warm-up exercises as being played by his pal and music buddy, the great Bix Beiderbecke. If anybody can confirm that, I'd appreciate it. I didn't get a chance to get the books on that, but I'm pretty sure this is the one, because there's one lick in particular in here that sounds quite a bit like Bix. And he wrote other tunes too, kind of for Bix. I think they played in bands together, and they certainly recorded together. Interestingly enough, with Hoagy as the star of the record and Bix as the sideman. But anyway, here's another one that you know. Kind of cool to have a tune that works for Bix Beiderbecke, Louis Armstrong, and Joe Venuti, and Eddie Lang, and all them cats. And then I don't know how many years later, 40 or 50, it works again real good for Linda Ronstadt. How about that? Skylark. Favorite melody. And yeah, the part I think that pertains to Bix is that goofy key change. You know, those lines sound like they come out of a scale exercise book, I guess. Time for one more, ladies and gentlemen. And then I gotta finish my cocktail with Liam's new recipe and think of a name for it. I'm told we're supposed to think of names. What do you got for yours so far? These are all the super famous Hoagy songs. Although he also, didn't he write the music for Stardust? I think he did. I know Mitchell Parrish wrote the lyric on that one. This next one I looked up. The internet is so much fun. I go to look up this song just to verify that it was one of Hoagland's songs. Sorry. Here we go. So I put in the title "Up a Lazy River" in the in the internet, and it comes up, you know, "Up a Lazy River," a song by the Mills Brothers. Well, yeah, that's okay, I guess. They had a huge hit with that. In fact, I might have even seen the Mills Brothers do this one on the black and white television with a 6-inch screen when I was about 1 year old, you know. Speaking of that, the Mills Brothers was a group, family sort of group, great swing singers in harmony, 3/4 parts of harmony. They sang a cappella and quite often with a guitar, one or the other, both. And they had a great thing they did too. In fact, you should go check it out on YouTube. Not on this number, but they would imitate the sounds of the band. You know, like make a trumpet sound, trombone sounds. Fantastic talents. So let's go up a lazy river. If you're like me, your driveway looks like a river tomorrow when it melts. All right, I've enjoyed playing for you, ladies and gentlemen. Up the lazy river. Thank you so much, Christy, and all the gang. There she is. Hi, Christy.
Thanks, Dan. That was great.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, Hoagy Carmichael.
He wrote a ton of good ones.
Yeah, he really did. And it's kind of interesting. I mean, he goes through periods when people remember him and dig out the tunes, and then when people talk about the Great American Songbook, standards and what have you, they usually end up saying, like Gershwin, Irving Berlin, Duke Ellington, and sometimes it takes a Cole Porter, and Hoagy might be falling down on the list a little bit. I hope not, but it's fun to trot out his great tunes once in a while. They're fun to play on and fun to sing.
Yeah, that's one of the things I like about Composer Night is we get to kind of explore and really think about who wrote what tunes,
Right, exactly. And right next to you on my screen now, I see my buddy Ethan right there, and he brought his bass, which is so cool.
I almost forgot it, but
you were I hope you weren't out shoveling snow with it again like last time.
yeah, you just take off the top and then you kind of pull.
Yeah. I think I might have pointed out to you at one time that it's better if you have a bass. It's much better than shoveling with one of these because it holds so much more.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
That's you want the weight.
Yeah, you got to be careful with your back. Take it from me, but no, you're gonna play your bass, which is everybody knows it's just an upside down mandolin with a couple of octaves away there.
Yeah, so, fewer strings.
Can't wait to hear it. Who are you doing tonight?
I'm doing Cole Porter.
You are? All right. Can't wait. So long, everybody.
See you, Don. Sounds great. All right. Well, I'm going to play a couple Cole Porter compositions for you all. With one of my favorite compositions of his. He has such a great way of writing forms that kind of just like expand throughout the whole thing instead of just kind of coming back to the same material. So this is In the Still of the Night. All right, that was In the Still of the Night. Going to continue with a Cole Porter ballad. Every Time We Say Goodbye. All right, and gonna close it out with often played Cole Porter composition. What is this thing called? Love. All right, well, that's it for me. Thanks to Christy for having me. Looking forward to hearing some more composers.
Thanks, Ethan. That was great.
Thank you. See you next week.
Yeah, we'll see you next week. Alrighty. Case and I are getting set up. We're going to do some Jobim for you. This is not doing the thing it's supposed to do. Oh, yes it is. I'm not doing the thing I'm supposed to do. There he is. There's Jobim. Right. Get everything plugged in. And we'll get going. Sorry, I've got There we go. All right. That switched over. And we'll get. Okay. I think we're good. We're going to kick it off with one of his most well-known tunes, Chega de Saudade, No More Blues. I've seen this credited several times as kind of definitely not the first bossa nova tune, but the first introduction to bossa nova, of a bossa nova to the world. This is one of the first Jobim tunes that was kind of put out there, and kind of certainly the intro of bossa nova to mainstream jazz. So, No More Blues. No more blues, I'm gone back home. No, no more blues, I promise no more to roam. Home is where the heart is, the funny part is, my heart's been right here all along. No more blues and no more sighs. No, no more blues. I said no more goodbyes if trouble beckons me. I swear I'm gonna refuse. I'm gonna settle down. There'll be no more blues. Every day when I am far away, my thoughts turn homeward, forever homeward. I traveled round the world in search of happiness, but all the happiness I found was in my hometown. No more blues, I'm going back home. No, no more dues, I'm through with all my wandering now. I'll settle down, never roam and find a man. Build a home when we settle down. There'll be no more blues, nothing but happiness when we settle down. There'll be no more blues. settle down, there'll be no more blues. Every day when I am far away, my thoughts turn homeward. Forever homeward, I traveled round the world in search of happiness, but all the happiness I found was in my hometown. No more blues, I've gone back home. No more dues, I'm through with all my wandering now. I'll settle down, never roam and find a man, build a home when we settle down. There'll be no more blues, nothing but happiness when we settle down. There'll be no more blues, nothing but happiness when we settle down. There'll be no more blues. Yeah. Let's see. I thought it was interesting too. I looked up Saudade translates to, let's see, happy sadness that evolves into sad happiness.
Wow.
It's one of those like complicated terms that we don't really have a word for in English. That may have just been the one person who wrote that article's interpretation of it, but sounds pretty good to me. I'm gonna do. Let's do Corcovado.
Okay.
You don't need that, right?
No.
I don't know why I opened it to another Jobim tune. Still trying to figure out some of the levels. So if something sounds off, and you can type it into the YouTube chat, that's the easiest way to let me know. I know that the speaking is probably quiet, but as long as the music is the right volume, we're good. Okay. Quiet nights of quiet stars, quiet chords from my guitar, floating on the silence that surrounds us. Quiet walks by quiet streams, quiet talks and quiet dreams, and a window looking on the mountains and the streams. How lovely, this is where I want to be, with you so close to me, until the final flicker of life's embers. I who was lost and lonely, believing love was only a bitter faded joke, I found with you the meaning of existence, oh my love.
Fiz demora uma canção pra fazer feliz de que se ama. Muita calma pra pensar e ter tempo pra sonhar. Da janela ver se eu tô corcovado ou Ellington, que lindo. Quero a vida sempre assim, com você perto de mim até eu apagar da velha chama. E o que era triste, descrito nesse mundo, aí contra você eu conheci a felicidade e o amor. If you never come to me, or once I left.
If you never come.
Okay. Oh yeah, the other thing I read that I thought was interesting, that, and who knows, they always come up with these stories for things, but that Jobim came up with kind of the feel of these tunes from, in particular, Chega de Saudade, which kind of kicked it off, from watching women who were washing their laundry in the river. And they had the, laundry baskets on their head and were balancing it. And he was like trying to match the rhythm of moving with this like laundry on your head and like to the water, and then makes for a heck of a story. It's kind of a nice image for, I mean, if you're not the one doing the laundry, it's kind of a nice image. I don't think anyone would try to write a song about me doing laundry. A lot of whining, trudging down the stairs.
Yeah.
It just sounds like the teddy bears go parading. Teddy bears have a picnic.
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 Yeah.
They paraded to the picnic.
They sure did.
A lot of people don't know that about the teddy bears. For anyone who doesn't know Ellis Regina, look up her music. It's really sad that she wasn't with us longer, but she talked about the space between the music and how it applied really to this next tune, which is, at least the English lyrics are about missing your loved one. Where winter snows, what's the use of the waves that'll break in the cool of evening? What is the evening without you? It's nothing. It may be you will never come. is the evening without you? It's nothing. It may be you will never come if you never come to me. What's the use of my wonderful dreams? Why would they need me? Where would they lead me without you? To nowhere. Where would they lead me without you? To nowhere. Where would they lead me without you? To
What's that left?
Yep. I feel like in a snowstorm that if you never come to me could be about having food delivered.
Yeah.
All my dreams of food. Where would they lead me? Nowhere. And I gave so much love to this love, it was the world to me. Once I cried at the thought I was foolish and proud and let you say goodbye. Then one day, in my infinite sadness, you came and brought me love again. Now I know that no matter whatever befalls, I'll never let you go. I will hold you close and make you stay. Because love is the saddest thing when it goes away. Because love is the saddest thing when it goes away. And no matter whatever befalls, I'll never let you go. I will hold you close and make you stay. Because love is the saddest thing when it goes away. Because love is the saddest thing when it goes away. Because love is the saddest thing when it goes away. Live streams are also the saddest thing when they go away. Thanks for joining us tonight. We will see you next week. Stay warm and dry out there. We're getting a lot of snow.